It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to start your week off right. Sorry, rented lips. Let's try this again. It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to start your week off right. Right here on Nerd Initiative with Play for Keeps, the show. This week, we're talking about the second RakinBass show, Silverhawks. Mickey, tally ho. Play the intro.
Tally ho!
Tally ho! Wings of silver, birds of steel. Silverhawks, partly metal, partly real. Silverhawks, soaring through the highway of the heavens in their flight. Silverhawks, a rainbow in the night.
You know, sometimes I think he has a little too much fun making those intros and throwing me off every single week.
Yes! That was awesome.
That was fantastic. So, welcome back, Nerd Initiative. My name's Off the Cuff Tom. You know me as Nerd Initiative's resident pop culture connoisseur. And to my left, you're right. You know what? I was going to say that he is the tally to my hoe. But let's be honest, he's partly metal and he's partly real. His name is Mickey CWK Smith. Mickey, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing great. I hope everyone out there is doing great. I'm so hyped about these RakinBass shows. We hit Thunderhawk. Sorry. Put them together there.
I say rented lips. You got it.
Thundercats last week. Silverhawks tonight. Tiger Sharks next week. I'm hyped. Let's go.
I think, yeah. Speaking of which, before we keep going, before we hit that toy news, any pickups this week?
Yes.
Aha.
Target had a lot of stuff on clearance.
No. Target.
Remember,
we're fancy here.
All right. I bought some stuff for the kids, but I had to get something for myself. Masters of the Universe, Stranger Things mashup. So we got He-Man and Vecna.
Oh, that's cool that they did the whole underside.
Yeah. He's got his the grandfather clock is like his scepter, or whatever. It's pretty cool. He's got even got the tendrils coming out in his back.
That grandfather clock thing kind of reminds me more of like the Visionaries, but that's me being shown how old I am.
Yeah. So I've seen Skeletor and the Demigorgon. They've had that out before, and I didn't care, and it never went on clearance either. But this was like half off, and I was like, I'm gonna buy it.
Nice. So, yeah, anything else happen to come in the mail this week?
Yes. Some Sonic the Hedgehog stuff is very cool for my kid. He added it to the collection. It looks really good. So yeah, thank you.
And stickers.
And stickers. Oh yeah, hold on. I added you to my my water bottle of stickers.
Did you trim it? Did you trim it down?
Yeah. I had to fit you in there with ODP8.
Okay.
and Bluey, so you had to go in the middle there.
Off the Cuff Tom.
Yeah.
For me this week, I have coming up is going to be a review on the channel from our friends over at Fan Home. We've got the USS Stargazer from their their small scale. So we will be reviewing that and getting that up shortly. Trust me, it's warp speed ahead on that, especially with 4 different nacelles and something just fell behind me. I don't care. So other things that we're picking up this week, it's got to be toy news. What do we got? So this week in toy news, I don't have much to offer, but Mickey kind of went to town, and I have thoughts.
Okay. Well, first up, Mattel announced a new Masters of the Universe mashup. We're talking about Thundercats and Masters of the Universe coming together.
I have the power hose.
Exactly, man.
Now, I'm wondering if they're going to turn this into a comic book. The only reason I say that is because right now I'm covering Turtles of Grayskull for Nerd Initiative, which you can check out our reviews every single Wednesday because I like to do shameless plugs all throughout the show. So this is our first look at some of the figures. Now, we did see them, San Diego last year?
Yeah, they I don't think they showed, I don't know who they showed. They didn't show them all, and they kind of hinted at this is what's coming. But earlier last week, they finally dropped it and said this is the first wave right here. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we got? We've got Lion-O, we've got Chitara, we've got Mumra and Skeletor, and a humanoid version of Battle Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom loves it.
No,
I love it. I know Tom.
no. Look at that. I'm like, okay, so hold on. I had to come
Okay,
back to this because
okay.
I like the fact that they just did a repaint and remold of Mumra on Skeletor. I'm good with
Yes,
that.
it is.
I
When we
like that
get
they
to it-
kind of have the He-Man-esque shielding on
Yeah.
all the characters. Like I know Lion-O is very specifically close to one particular character, like one version of He-Man. And yes, big ups to Kat for telling us about that in our bullpen.
She
So I could go completely unhinged about it. Battle Cat looks more like he's more evolved into a tiger humanoid. Fine. They just better write the story right for it, or else it's going to make me go cringer. And he looks more like Man at Arms if you look at it.
He does. He does.
Chitara, I don't get it. I don't know who she's supposed to be indicative of.
I don't know. I think she's
Some
her own
version
thing.
of Tila.
Yeah, for sure.
So, because that's what they've been doing with the Turtles of Grayskull line. Like every character has had a
foil.
He-Man a basic He-Man figure that they're based off of. I haven't seen anything original just yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go digging for Samurai He-Man. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So yeah, this is just a look at the figures and the accessories that come with them. Pretty basic, pretty standard, honestly.
Flowy hair.
I do like that. That's pretty cool. The little Chitara flowing hair.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that they've got these, masks thing going on here. Lion-O's got this, World Wrestling belt thing. He's got the claw gauntlet. What's up with those? Like, are they getting gauntlets to put on? Or like, are these going to be changeable arms at the?
I guess probably, to look more He-Man-esque. I don't know.
Yeah, just so Ken, likes to dig it in. Thanks, man. Yeah.
But then we got I don't, it doesn't bother me, but it bothers me that Mumra and Skeletor are essentially the same figure. Like you could buy them and the accessories that come with them. I know, but I'm saying you only need to buy one because their accessories exchanged to make them look just like the other character.
Okay, Mr. Smith, this is a Mr. Smith moment.
Okay.
You do realize that every single male figure in all of Masters of the Universe is the same freaking guy.
I get that. Yes. But it was just something here.
I say good day.
It's the accessories that are bothering. They literally gave you the pieces to just make it the other person.
And I wonder if that's a plot point in the book. If they do a book to go with it, that, maybe they're fighting for the power or something. Because, I mean, you saw like in Masters of the Universe Revolution and Revelation, both written by our friend Tim Sheridan. Go check out his stuff, of which congratulations to him for getting nominated for a GLAAD Award.
Oh.
Yeah. For his Alan Scott Green Lantern. Shameless plug again. But yeah, it's maybe that is a plot point, and I'm down with it. I love the fact that they added the Sword of Plundar. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Skeletor rock the Sword of Plundar while, Lion-O maybe double fists between, the Power Sword and the Sword of Omens.
Yes, please.
Like, give me a mashup of those two together. Yes, please.
That would be dope.
Thank you. I'm here all week. Mattel, call me.
That's your guy right there. But the best figure out of
really, you had to put this in here, you son of
I'm digging it. I like it a lot. I don't know why.
I get it,
but
I love Cringer. I love Battle Cat. Like, just do the story right. Like, I wish the color was a little bit darker, but I can see why they didn't go with like the big old orange.
Yeah.
But they got the same right color for the armor and everything. So I can't knock it. I just don't want to like it.
I got you. I see that. That's probably going to be the big one out of the wave that everybody wants to. More than likely. But I don't know. Anyway, Diamond Select dropped a few interesting things on us last week that I was kind of fascinated by. I didn't put it all in here, but the things that really caught my eye, and the first one being this statue of B from Berserker. Dude,
Wow.
comic book fans, this is awesome. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, wow. I wasn't ready. I would love to have an action figure of this, but I'll take a statue too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail on this thing that I noticed. They had a lot of like close-up shots. Just everything looked good, you know?
And I like the fact that they didn't make him look so much like Keanu.
Right. He looks a little different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Outside of that, they had these statues, which are dope. You have the Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah, that's Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
They also have a Punisher, John Barenthal Punisher. I'm not sure if it was in this. It wasn't in this announcement. It may have been released before, but I saw that in the ad as well. Ahsoka, and then that Incredible Hulk is awesome. I was like, dude, that is like my Incredible Hulk right there. When I think about Hulk,
look at the musculature and it's so veiny.
He's so huge.
Out of anything, I would probably want that Ahsoka. Now, I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference between the $55.99 price point and the $79.99 price point.
I can
understand Hulk
because I looked at the sizes. Hulk's bigger than the other two, but there's nothing. I couldn't find anything about Ahsoka that would make her more expensive than Daredevil.
Really, Lucas?
The only thing was you could change. So you have that like blur of the lightsaber when she's swinging them. They do have like just stationary blades as well. I was like,
okay, but 2 extra little pegs does not warrant.
It doesn't.
I think it's maybe the extra casting in the back for whatever that explosion is.
Yeah.
I think it's also the fact you're paying for the IP versus Marvel. Who knows what deal Diamond has with Lucas / Disney versus Marvel / Disney.
Yeah, it's. I was just digging that Netflix.
I'm sorry. But look at that Daredevil, and I'm not trying to sound nasty or whatnot. But look at the crotch, like seriously, you see. I'm really not, but look at the fact that you see the ripples in the clothing in the suit, like that's Diamond Select to a T.
Yeah, and yeah. I didn't get any close-ups of his suit, but I mean, there's a lot of detail in that suit too. Like just the way that it's like I don't know what he has, carbon fiber or whatever. Just the waves in it is pretty awesome.
Somebody call the mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly who we.
Ooh.
And then
greetings programs.
Tron. So I don't know how I feel about the action figures per se. They don't like blow me away or anything. But this prototype of the packaging, if I get something cool like this, I mean, this would be really good inbox collectibles. I think if I get something close to this.
I really, 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 really wish I checked the Toy News setup before we got on because I would have thrown in a picture.
Yeah.
There's a picture of me about, at least, how long they've been married for? At least 14 years ago. Okay. This was right when Tron Legacy was coming out.
Okay.
And I was in Disneyland, not Disney World, just off of what would now be Sunset Boulevard. It's over where the Monsters Inc. ride is. Again, these are, if you're familiar with Disneyland, not Disney World. And they had Flynn's arcade set up.
Really?
Oh, they had the whole setup. And they had like this big, huge arch. And under that arch, where it says Flynn's is the Tron cabinet. And me, I just just threw my quarters up. And everybody's looking at me like, oh my God, this guy actually knows how to play Tron. But that arch at the same time was in the movie as that plot point that you had to get a certain score and it opened up. And every once in a while, as you're playing, you see the arch light up and smoke come out of it. I'm like, that's so cool. I'm living my dream. End of line. I mean, it was awesome. And there's like a really cheesy, overly flashed picture that my now wife took of me. Yeah. Now, do we know if these figures light up at all? Are these going to be static?
Nothing really. This is really just a part of a press release. They didn't give a whole lot of details other than some photos, like some close-up photos of them. They're definitely they've got knee joints and elbow joints and all that. But
double knees. I see pins, so it happens.
I don't know. As far as like technical stuff, I don't know how far it goes. I would doubt they're gonna light up, but it would be pretty cool if they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would like that. That would motivate me to buy them a little more if that were to happen.
Yeah. Either that or make them look like, I mean, with that particular color of gray, I don't know if they could really make them black light reactive.
That's a great idea, actually.
Mm.
You guys listening?
Try, yeah,
Diamond Select?
seriously. Well, I think it comes down to, I mean, you know how they film that, right?
No.
Like
How?
they wore suits very much like this, and they were coated in almost like silver screen movie stuff. So when they did the exposure on it, they like ultra exposed one layer and not the
Yeah.
other. That's why the suits glow the way they do.
Okay. Learning something.
Yeah. So that's it for the toy news this week, right?
That is it. I'm sure there's more, but that's all we got.
That's all we want to give you. That's it. That's what we like. We talk what's in our wheelhouse.
That's right.
Now, Silverhawks. What does Silverhawks mean to you, except as the sequel of Thundercats?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah, like, do you have any memories or whatnot?
Well, I mean, obviously, sitting down and watching that cartoon on Saturday mornings. Definitely had a few of the toys. I didn't have as many of these as I did Thundercats, but
And I was
I
the opposite.
definitely had Quicksilver, Bluegrass, and I think I had Monstar as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that I loved playing with them. I was fascinated by the Hawks, and this intro music is one of the best. Like out of all of them, it just it blows me away every time.
I would say compared to Thundercats is very driven, very quick.
Yeah.
Silverhawks was a little more, hey, you know, we're here, we're doing our thing. It's more ethereal.
Yeah.
It's more outer space themed.
And I will say, as a child, I was more fascinated with space than anything else. So this was a little more, probably captured my attention a little bit more than others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Now we're gonna do like we did last week. Mickey's covering the majority of the toys. I'm gonna be covering the TV stuff, and I will be very honest, folks. There's not a lot to talk about as far as the TV is concerned. Reason being, we'll get to it.
Yeah, there's not a lot on the toys either. Okay, but so as we talked about last week, Thundercats gets picked up by this company LJN to make toys. We know LJN makes a lot of IP figures, video games, stuff like that. Wrestling, not Star Wars. We're talking about Star Wars. Wrestling, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, all that stuff. For some reason, they dropped out at the last minute on Silverhawks. I don't know why. I couldn't find anything as to why they dropped out. But Kenner,
I have my theory.
Kenner swept in to make these figures. As we know, Kenner, Star Wars, right? Big time. What's your theory? I want to hear your theory.
My theory is the fact that the TV show kept going, that Thundercats kept going, and there was no toy production to go with it. So why would LGN risk this on another show out of RakinBass?
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, we got 2 extra seasons, but we didn't get any toys.
Yeah, we know it all comes down to money, whatever it was.
Right?
But so this toy line only ran for 2 years, 87, 88, and releasing only 2 series, mostly because there's not a lot about the show. You know, it kind of just ended and there was no more. So once the show's over, they're not making any new characters or new vehicles or anything that they can market. So
there was no 22-minute commercial.
That's right. The commercials are over. So
Silverhawks aired for 1 season of 65 episodes, which was enough to give us 2 completely separate toy lines. It was very much set up as here's the plot, here's the build up, here's the battle, here's the end of the story. There was no big overarching, things like in Thundercats, you had Lion-O's, ascension, anointments, stuff, or you had stuff with the ancient spirits of evil. This is very much good guys, bad guys, outer space, birds. That's it.
And that's all we needed, baby.
Yep. But the one thing that I will say that does separate them a little bit differently is counting Copper Kid out, they all had military ranks.
True. Yeah.
So I did appreciate that. Like both, the Steel Twins, they were sergeants.
Yeah.
Quicksilver was the captain. They got it a little screwed up and made one. What's his name? The commander. And then Bluegrass was technically the second in command.
Yeah.
Not that they really gave him, that I could find, a designation. But for lack of better words, I would call him a lieutenant.
Yeah. Yeah. And the pilot, kind of, I guess.
But, well, he was actually the
entertainment
tactician. He was the tactician, and there's also something very different about Bluegrass as opposed to the rest of the team.
Yeah, where's cowboy hat?
No, he's the only one that didn't have wings.
He
Never had a thing.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need to. And we'll get to that toy and talk about, what his specialty was.
Heck yeah. So Series 1 dropped in 1987. You got 12 total characters. You got all 8 Silverhawk heroes, and you got 4 of the mob. Just off the top of my head, I think Monstar, Mumbo Jumbo.
Yep. Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw.
The Musica or Discordia.
Okay, yeah. So that's what you got in the first wave. And they also had some other things, but we'll get to that because you want to talk about the OG team a little bit, right?
So the team itself started off with Commander Stargazer, who was at the base of operations, but the team itself with the Copper Kid, Bluegrass, Quicksilver, Steel Heart, and Steel Will, which were also twins, can't have wings if you carry a guitar.
It's true.
Will you go back to doing comic book reviews? Like, I know you're doing this comic book review, and of course I shamelessly plugged it at later, so thank you.
Right
Now, Copper Kid actually was not from the Earth Alliance, whatever federation that they were part of, Federation H, I believe it was. He was from the planet of the Mimes. He did not talk at all.
Beep, boop, beep,
one
beep.
thing that was, like, he was the R2-D2. And he also had this cool yo-yo weapon that he had in his belt buckle, which I thought was the coolest.
Yes.
If you also take a look at Bluegrass's guitar, you spin it the right way, it's actually the Silverhawks logo.
Yes.
So it was cool the way they did this. And yes, there were 8 figures originally released in that first series. That's because there were yeah.
No, stay.
Get off my lawn. But yeah, they added in some other characters later down the road, of which we will talk to. But Commander Stargazer still was the head honcho. And the way that I heard this is that because it was in the Limbo Galaxy, the reason that they were cyborgized or turned into cyborgs is so they could live the long journey that would take in stasis to get there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny considering some of the characters we're going to get later down the road.
Right. What I really liked about this show, looking back on it now, I liked the villains in this better. Like, I like the mob better than, say, like the mutants, right? Like, there was a diversity about them. They were interesting, huge, crazy designs. Battlecat would have made an excellent Silverhawk. You're right, Ken. I
yeah, we could have called him Griffin.
Yeah. But yeah, Monstar is awesome. That guy was awesome. Great villain. Moving on to that with the toys in this OG team. Speaking of the awesome art, dude, this card, like, I love these card arts. Like,
yeah,
these were beautifully packaged, in my opinion. I love the like hologram image of them up in the corner with the logo, their name. They're kind of like what they are or what they do or whatever, their rank. You also kind of get some information in the bottom right corner as well. And they all come with some kind of hawk or whatever their little side companion is, or whatever.
Including the bad guys too. All the bad guys had their own as well. I remember, so going through this, prepping for this, I had Monstar only because I remember having Sky Shadow more than playing with Monstar.
There you go.
And I was like so weird that's what was the connection for me.
And
I never had any of the Silverhawks.
If I'm not mistaken, he flipped to like that body kind of flipped to his regular head, right? Like the Monstar.
Yep, it was a flip. Like, you can see it. It's right up here in the middle card up there at the top. Yeah. So it was a quick changer. I forget if it was the squeeze mechanic like the Power Rangers flip heads had, or if it was a physical open and flip.
I think it was a physical open and flip, because I had Monstar too. And as you can see on the back of the card, though, this is everything in that series 1. You got the characters we spoke about earlier. You got 3 of the big giant bird play sets, and you got the Mirage, which is their ship or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, what I would have given to have one of those Battlehawks, that would have just been amazing.
Dude, I would have loved that too.
Now, interestingly enough, and we're going to talk about this later, Tallyhawk was the only cyborg bird. All the other ones were actual robots. Sky Shadow did have an episode where you learn that Monstar made this Sky Shadow based off of his actual pet, originally named Sky Shadow.
Nice.
Yep.
Speaking of the show and the voice actors, where are we going to go with that?
So RakinBass was famous for recycling voice talent, because if they're already in-house, why do we have to hire them again?
Hey, man, it's the Funimation model.
That's right. So Lion-O took a step back from being leader and became second in command, and voiced by Larry Kenney, who was Bluegrass. Mumra and Jaga, who was voiced by Earl Hammond, finally became Monstar, which you can definitely hear Mumra and Monstar are very similar. Peter Newman, who did Tigra and Wily Cat, went on to become Quicksilver, the leader, so he went from second to first. And then he also voiced Mumbo Jumbo, one of the villains. And then Snarf, who also voiced Slithe, which I didn't know that, both done by Bob McFadden, became Hardware, who was probably one of my favorites, and Buzzsaw, who was also one of the figures I had as a kid.
Yeah.
So, and you were going to see a lot of these names come up again next week when we talk about Tiger Sharks.
That is true. That is true. So we talked a little bit about it earlier, but we have the giant attack birds, right? So they were kind of like, they were pretty sizable as a child, and you could connect your Silverhawk to the bottom of it to like fly with it. And then you had the Mirage, which you could put your Silverhawks in to play with. These things, all of these toys are hard to come by now, especially in box. These, oh boy, if you got one of these, or you can find one, get it, man. Like they're rare and they're very valuable. I would have loved to have that Tallyhawk, man.
I wouldn't mind having Stronghold, only because I'm, a fan of blue, and let's be honest, that's the Tallyhawks, like is literally the logo, so the likeliness of getting it is slim to. The cool thing is, and I don't know if the Mirage did this, I know that it's separated out into separate vehicles in the show. I don't know if the actual toy itself did as well.
I want to say at least the front pod, like Quicksilver's pod did, but I don't think the whole thing did. No.
I don't know.
Which would have been cool if they all could. Absolutely. But throughout the show, we get some new characters introduced, which will lead to new figures. And
that's right. So we had Flashback, who is interesting because he was based on an owl, right? And the cool thing is that Flashback was from the future. So maybe that's why he was more, cyborg than human. What's also neat is that he had this weird time gimmick. As I said, every one of these new Hawks all had a gimmick. Interestingly enough, did you know that Flashback is the only Silverhawk that never had the that happened, nor did he ever take his cowl off. He was always in this particular form.
Did not know that.
Now, Moonstriker was the next one introduced, and he was also from HQ. He had this weird mechanical cyclone chest thingy, kind of like Airman. He was also the team's sharpshooter. And let's be honest, the only thing I could think of is when he went, is that his hair, his designed hair into his costume, literally was helmet hair. Think about it.
Yeah, it was.
Now, Hot Wing is a little bit different, and this is where it gets a little odd. Hot Wing was a Silverhawk, but was not made into a cyborg. He had been given his abilities because of some secret power that he found out on another planet, and exploring space, and became a Silverhawk adjacent.
Yeah,
but was accepted by the team. He had a really cool bird called Gyro.
Yeah, I love Gyro.
And then Condor is like the old grizzled beast. Like he was buddies with the commander, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm still active. What do you want to do about it?" I can't fly. I don't care. Give me a gun.
Yeah, he's the
Like-
I was 1 week away from retirement.
And you pulled me right back in.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so I like the fact that they were trying to diversify the line, and the characters themselves. The original 5 core team really didn't have any big gimmick going for them.
Right.
Kid Copper was the kid. Bluegrass was the tactician. Quicksilver was the leader. Steelheart was the girl, and Steel Will was
The muscle.
the football player
Yeah.
who literally, when he would his
He had a
freaking
football
mouth
helmet,
guard
dude.
went up. And even when he was in civilian form, he was wearing a jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like let's make tropes where we can.
Oh yeah. For sure. But of course, with new characters comes new toys, right?
Mhm.
So series 2 in 1988 rolls around. We introduce 7 new figures, 2 new Silverhawks, 2 new of the mobs. And then we get these ultrasonic suits, which I don't think ever occurred in the show. They're basically like a different color, like a fancy armor. And
Mhm.
I don't like that they took the wings away from their inside of their shoulder.
Yep.
They
Well,
just
they
kind
were
of
ripped. They were really easy to,
yeah. And they just kind of put them on their back. But these were just I guess they were just playing at trying to do something because they were run out of episodes basically.
Yep. And I think the whole idea of the ultrasonic suit is the same idea as the Arctic suit Batman. It's just let's repaint it and put it back out there.
Yeah, that's true. Like
Mhm.
how many different variants can we make of this?
Yeah. Well, Batman. But Hardware was actually one of my favorite guys in the mob. I liked Buzzsaw because I had the figures, the one I usually played with the most because I love that grinding the gear that he had in his head.
Yeah.
But Hardware was fun because he literally just had a bag of holding and just go, oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, I got that.
A little gizmo from
Yeah.
the
I love little gizmos.
but we haven't talked about the Battlehawks other than like a couple of them.
So the Battlehawks themselves were designed. So originally there was Tallyhawk. Tallyhawk was Quicksilver's companion. All the other ones were, believe it or not, invented by the twins.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So as far as the Battlehawks go, right? So we had Tallyhawk, who's Quicksilver's companion. Sideman, who was the one all the way to the far left. That one is Bluegrass's.
Stronghold was that was Steel Wheels, right? Or no?
Stronghold was Steel Wills because that was the whole strength idea.
Yeah.
And then Razor was Steel Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kid Copper had one, but they never gave it a name.
Right.
Commander Stargazer had one, and the Hawk's name was Mayday. Hot Wing had Gyro.
Mm-hmm.
Moonstriker had Tailspin, which you can go back and see that in the figure because it was only ever shown once in the show.
Yeah.
And then I love the idea that they try to do play on words. So Flashback had Backlash.
Getting fancy with it.
Yep. And then Condor really didn't have one, but if you take a look, let me go back one because I know it was on the card. I don't know if they named it. Yeah, Jetstream. Like how like cyber, steampunk is that? I'll get you kids. Off my lawn. But I think, I was saying to Greta, my wife, is that we were getting ready for this. I was like, this is probably a show you would have liked just because they had the pet thing. And, any show that I like that has this. But yeah, it was kind of nice to doing the homework on this and finding out and remembering, especially with Sky Shadow, Monstar's particular Battlehawk, because they never really named them for the other guys, for the mob.
Yeah.
That there was a little bit of a story there.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget, we did see Monstar in last week's episode. We were talking about the Thundercats 2013 series and also the Tiger Sharks nod as well.
That's cool. I like that I'm trying to think of I can't off the top of my head think of another cartoon where they had these little sidekicks.
Pokemon.
Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Metabots, Digimon. Come on.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a little different, but yeah, okay. I got you. But anyway, speaking of Battlehawks, there were no new giant attack bird toys in Series 2. And you only got
They were
two,
probably expensive to make. Think about it.
probably. But you got two new vehicles. You got the Skyrunner and you got the Sprint Hawk, which were pretty cool. That Skyrunner's sick, man. I would have loved to have had that. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool ride.
I would be really interesting to see how the toy itself was made with the grasping tentacles. Like, was it a wire or was it, interchangeable pieces? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so like, did it have multiple points of articulation that you could run them, or was it, one big wire running through and they were soft and you could grip? I don't know. Anybody who had these figures, let us know.
Yeah, tell us in the chat while I look it up.
Now, the Sprint Hawk, this was not part of the Mirage, was it?
No, this was like a separate vehicle.
Yeah, this looks like it was a reconnaissance particular. Like, I got to go on a solo mission and not take out the big plane. Dad, can I have the keys to the plane? No, take the little one. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like on that Skyrunner, those tentacles are like bending material.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it was made with some type of foam, and God forbid if they actually lasted for the past 30 plus years.
There ain't no telling, man.
Mm-hmm.
They probably just had like some rubber with some wire or something. Best I know.
God knows if they could stand the test of time.
I mean, there's pictures of them now, so somebody, I'm sure a kid didn't take it. I wouldn't have taken care of them. I would have played them into the ground.
Whoa, hold on. Ken had one of these?
Had the big blue hawk? Oh, shoot. I clicked it off. Sorry. Nice, brother.
So I'm guessing he had Stronghold?
It had to be. Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Wish you had it now.
Right? For a whole new studio. Not there's anything wrong with it.
No,
nothing.
No.
I love that place. Anyway, but yeah, so talking about one season, they did the 65 episodes. There's no big major storylines. It was very simple to set up, resolution per episode. But hitting 65 episodes back in the 80s was enough for syndication.
Oh, that's what we want.
Yep. Yeah, so Ken was a big Hawk fan, so that's why he's doing the Silverhawks review this week. Both he and I. Chocolate, it helps to make it go down a little easier. He's only mostly dead. But yeah, it was enough for syndication, but there's always a big old but. Because we hit that 65 episodes, then we got no new episodes, no new marketing.
That's right. What do we do now? Our commercials are over.
Yep, and that's where we really lost it. There was nothing. You couldn't do anything. And I think, that was again one of RakinBass's downfalls is that, okay, we made season 3 and season 4 of Thundercats, but we didn't have any toys to back it up. We blew our load in making all these toys to begin with. Yes, we know. We shot our shot, took our shot on, pushing out everything that first whole series. And then by series 2, there wasn't much to go with. Like, I would have loved to seen, what's his name? The green one get a figure? Because that's the only one, like, I don't know why. No, Flashback.
Yeah, he did. He
did? Yeah, I would have loved to have him. But again, I never could get never could get the actual figures, the Silverhawks figures. And the sad part is,
yeah,
I'll agree with that.
If we're talking like if we compare it to like Thundercats, their wave 1 was only like half of the Thundercats team, right? And like a couple of mutants. They kind of I feel like they funneled them out slowly, whereas like Silverhawks just here's all the Silverhawks and half of the bad guys.
and I don't know if was that a choice by Kenner, since now it
probably
wasn't LGN.
Probably.
Maybe that was in their contract that, hey, we want to take this for you, RakinBass, but this is our terms. We're just gonna, throw it all out there at once.
Yeah. And it's it's important to note, well, maybe not important to everyone, but Marvel Comics was also making a comic book right now too. To go,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was continuing where the show left off or what, but I know that the comic book series ran after the show. I don't know for how long, but obviously you're not a major Marvel property. You're not gonna make any money off of a action
No.
figure related.
All those ancillary media things like Masters didn't go very long after, that went off the air.
Also, I don't think I mentioned it last week with Thundercats, but we're getting into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles time. Like that's kind of starting to take off right now, like big time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know if you grew up in our time period, if you didn't, let me tell you, that was a phenomenon. Like that took over. Like when you walked. So these toys would be on shelves, Thundercats, Master Universe, Silverhawks, whatever. When Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came around, that was all the toy aisle was. Like it was
Marvel Comics ran from 87 to 88. It was only 7 issues.
Oh wow. I thought it went longer than that.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, see what Ken said.
Yeah. But yeah, it's important to note that there was this trend was over.
Everything was up for hard competition.
And there was a new one coming up. Every kid had turtle fever. I did.
I did. Dude, I remember going to Pizza Hut, making sure I could get, all my book it done so I could get the Turtles on Tour cassette tape.
Yeah.
We need to do a Turtles episode, by the way.
We will. That's a big one, though. that would take a while. We'd have to split that one up, I think. But
I'm down. We could do a whole month of turtle toys. Let's be honest.
Let's do it. I'm in.
I'm in.
So, what could have been? There was things coming down the pipeline, but we canceled our toy contracts or whatever. We're not making anymore. So, could you imagine having? What is that? Is that Hawkhaven? Is that what it's called?
That's correct. That's the name of their base was Hawkhaven. Very much, it's like, hey, that worked for Cat's Lair. Let's just make a big ass hawk. Works fine here.
Everyone loves a good headquarters playset. I don't care who you are, especially back then. You could get the Turtle Lair, Hawkhaven, Cat's Lair,
and honest to God,
Castle Grayskull, whatever it is.
I was going to say, if Mattel would have made this line, it's literally they just could have remolded Castle Grayskull to make this.
Absolutely. Add some little electronic doodads on the inside and you're good to go.
Yeah, man.
But also they were supposed to make the Copper Kid Sky Cycle or whatever that thing's called. It's a little like drag racer. I always thought the thing was cool in the show. That was one of my favorites. And then
Ultrasonic Monstar. I would have loved seeing that. Just do a chromed out version of him.
Heck yeah, dude. I don't really care much about the Copper Kid. I didn't care much about the ultrasonic suits, but Monstar, that would have been pretty cool. I would have been in for that just to see what that looks like.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That would have been a great figure.
Absolutely. But there's not really been anything Silverhawks related since until now. Over like the last 2 years.
Yes and no. So back in 2021, our friends over in the Cell Company were interested in getting the licensing for this.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
But Super 7 is in there, like swimwear. These, I have 3 pictures of waves here, like 3 waves that you could buy together.
Mm-hmm.
Big Bad Toy Story right now, like you could get that bottom wave for like $100. All 4 of those figures, $100.
Quicksilver, Monstar, and Buzzsaw.
Dude, totally worth it. So
and Steelheart, excuse me.
Yeah. They're awesome. Like I really want them, but I want the shiny suit, which you see at the top here. That's on pre-order now. That's something new. They're called the toy versions, right? So they're supposed to match up like the original toys, kind of like they did that with Thundercats too.
Well, but hold on. Let's be honest. If you had the toy version, eventually it looked like the bottom picture because all that chrome paint came off.
I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring it up too. That was the problem with those toys is that they would fade. That plastic, that like whatever it is, coating would fade and it would just be like a dull yellow underneath.
Yeah.
I guarantee you like 90% of those toys ended up like that. I know mine did. I remember my Quicksilver being like that by the end because I rubbed it to all what, But
I would know it didn't happen. Thanks to Mom and Dad.
Yeah. I want some Silverhawks, but I want that silver version.
Yeah, I'd much rather go for the blinged out version. Monstar I'd take as is.
Oh yes. I want the like, I don't know what you call his humanoid form, whatever his original base form is. I love that. That is a great design for a villain to me. Before he goes into like his mech or whatever it is.
And I love the idea of Buzzsaw. They have done 2 versions of this. There's the yellow version, which is the cartoon version, and I'm guessing that the green version is the toy version, like
Yeah,
the
probably.
other, like
Yeah.
because that's the figure I had, and I want to know if it has the little gear that makes his mouth go up and down like Chompers.
And I just want Mumbo Jumbo just because. What a cool name, man. Mumbo Jumbo. It's just a big bull.
I like how they did a Hot Wing or Hot Streaks.
Yes,
The paint on there, so that's cool.
Sick.
Oh,
And
look, it's my favorite figures.
Your favorite, the Reaction series. I think this is the only wave out right now. I don't know how many they're gonna make, but yeah, they look good though. They're expensive for what they are, and they don't have a lot of articulation. You're basically just buying it for shelf display, really. And boy, are they expensive.
Yeah, and the fact that Bluegrass comes with his guitar and not his bird.
Yeah, I want both.
Yeah, right. Give me both. I mean, if you're already going to spend this ridiculous amount of money on these figures,
Yeah, I haven't looked it up, but they're probably close to $20. They usually are.
Yeah, for 3-inch figures, gorgeous 3-inch figures, mind you. But
I think they only have like 5 points of articulation. Isn't it the shoulders, the legs, and the head? That's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. They look cool,
so
though.
For the Reaction figures are Italiano for me.
Italiano. So moving on.
Yep. So coming out this week from Dynamite Entertainment, we will be reviewing the Silverhawks #1. Ken's going to be doing a fantastic written review. I will give my opinions right here on video. So make sure to check us out this Wednesday, because nobody does reviews like the Nerd Nation Bullpens, Mickey included. That's right, nobody. What do you got this week? How many you got?
I have 3. Violator Origins issue number 5, Sabretooth number 2, and there's a really cool book dropping this week called The Seasons by Rick Remender. I can't tell you anything about the issue, but man, it's good. It's good, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think I've got 4 or 5 this week. I don't know. I lose count after a while, but I am absolutely looking forward to Silverhawks. Trying to see if they're going to tie this in together with what we already know is coming out of Thundercats. Somehow they don't have to.
Yeah,
but I'm interested.
Plus,
just look at that cover art.
I know, man. Like my LCS asked if I wanted, because I get Thundercats. They were like, "Do you want Silverhawks too?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I was like, I don't know what cover I'm going to want though, so don't just I'll come pick it out.
And look, just in case, Seasons is actually going to be one of our first 4. It's one of our picks of the week, as a matter of fact.
It should be, man. It's beautiful. Like, I know we're getting off topic here, but it felt like a classic comic strip type of art. It had a really great story. I'm in. I know it's going to get even better, so I'm in.
Nice.
So yeah.
So Dynamite's killing it. I know we also have an interview coming up tomorrow night with Dynamite. We're going to be talking about another book that's coming out, and it's not Silverhawks, but we wouldn't mind having Mr. Brisson on there. Just saying, we like him. We like his stuff. But we will be talking about another classic cartoon series that has now been adapted.
Has it been adapted?
But what's next week? Wait! It's a TV show from RakinBass that has 2 girls on the team. What the hell?
We're breaking boundaries right now.
Oh my God, something seems fishy to me.
All right, so I wanted to wait till we got now to admit something. I don't remember Tiger Sharks at all.
I do.
I thought so. I was like, I bet I had a toy, right? I had to have. So I started looking through them, and I was like, I don't remember any of these toys either.
Yeah, well, Ken wanted to remind us that it's Herculoids tomorrow night for the Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, since Dynamite's been doing such a great job with Space Ghost, one of the other classic cartoons.
Oh man, it's so good.
They're rolling into Herculoids, and yeah, like a lot of people, either you remember the Herculoids or you don't remember the Herculoids, and I am fortunate enough to be one of those that remember them.
I remember it.
So yeah, I can't wait to read the book.
I really appreciate because Dynamite is killing it right now with these classic cartoons. Like
Mm-hmm.
they've done Gotcha Man. Obviously, Silverhawks is coming.
Oh,
Thundercats.
no, Gotcha Man is Mad Cave.
Oh, is it? I thought that was Dynamite. Apologies.
Oh, I know. I was there.
I know you did. I know you did the review. So yeah, and Herculoids. Space cannot recommend Space Ghost enough. If
Dude,
all you know,
it's
if all you
so
know,
good.
if all you know, Space Ghost from is coast to coast. Read this book. Like this will give you the real deal Space Ghost of who this cat was. He was the man.
Okay, so let's just put it out there real quick. How many voice actors from Silverhawks and Thundercats were in Tiger Sharks?
At least 4 of them.
Well, you are at least right. And it will be at least the same ones.
Oh yeah, I imagine that.
Oh, is I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm bad. My bad.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, no, I was right. He's making me all upset. Second guessing myself.
You're crazy. So stay tuned next week. Come back for Tiger Sharks because that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to learn some new things myself doing that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so to do that,
it was a little cheesier. It definitely was a little cheesier.
I could tell by the art. I was like, okay, like this is like Snorks on steroids.
Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, you're Makoing me laugh.
Oh.
That's the name of the leader.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right, yeah.
But the only way to see that is if you like and well, now you can see it if you want, but if you want a notification, like and subscribe, right?
That's right.
If you feel like we did a good job with the Silverhawks episode, drop us a thumbs up down there, right? Because we want to make more of these. We want to talk about cool toy properties and come back for more Battle Cat, as Ken said.
So I think we're just going to put this out here, ladies and gentlemen. We want to hear in the comments, or if you're watching this now in the chat, do you guys want us to do a whole month of Turtles and let's do a whole month of Motu? Like there are some big franchises that I think deserve to have a whole month wrapped right around them. I think that this is a great idea, starting this series with doing just the RakinBass shows. Do you guys want to see, whole months dedicated to certain shows, franchises, or IPs? Let us know in the comments below. Mm-hmm. And, as always, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're tuning in tomorrow night for Turn a Page. Make sure on Wednesday you check out all of our reviews. Thursday, drop in from the top rope. And we even have the return of NI News. That's right. Headed up by our, news anchor, Nick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be my new name for him.
Pretty cool video right now from Nerd Initiative News about the new Green Lantern show, and we get some background on Sinestro. Because I'm not super versed on Green Lantern. That was a very informative video. I was like, this is going to be really cool. I can't wait.
Yeah, Derek did a great job on that. And I'm a huge fan of anything in the electromagnetic emotional spectrum. Say that 3 times fast. Because that's what it is.
Yeah. So there we go.
All right. Ken wants a month of Battle Cat. I can give you a month of Battle Cat. I'm not kidding. If we do a Masters of the Universe, I can talk about Battle Cat damn near every single series. You want to go? Let's go. I got the keys to the Dragon Zord. Seriously, he just does this to go. He pokes the bear.
It's fun to watch.
That's what good friends are for. That's right. Keep each other in check.
That's right.
Yeah. So how about them Eagles?
How about them, right? I'm pulling for you. Totally not because I don't want the Chiefs to win. Just go Eagles.
Go Birds. But make sure that you go and check out our website. And because we here at Nerd Initiative love our QR codes, we got that QR code right below. And we really hope that you're making sure that you're following along with us everywhere on all the social medias. We're everywhere you can think of.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, tally bye.
Tally go. We're going to tally go. All right. So, folks, thank you so much for coming back to Nerd Initiative. And thank you for watching Play for Keeps the show.
Yes.
Make sure that when you play,